What's up guys, this is Zach with Top Deck Nation, and today we're going to be looking at a card from the upcoming Sun and Moon 2 set, Guardians Rising, and that's going to be Victini. While there are a few Victini cards that are already playable in the standard format, this one stands out because its ability is one we've seen before. Once per turn, the Victory Star ability lets you redo the coin flips from an attack should you choose to do so. Because of this, Victini from Noble Victories was often called Fliptini and provided support to Pokemon that relied on coin flips. Given that Trick Coin from Phantom Forces rotated out last year, Victini is sure to bring some new strategies to life and make a lot of decks stronger. In this video, I'm going to look at 20 cards that I think benefit the most from the return of the Victory Star Victini. Some of these cards are already used in competitive decks, while others might actually have potential now thanks to Victini's ability. Kicking things off, Gyarados EX, Celebi, and Sableye have one thing in common. Their attacks are used to set up in one way or another. The problem is that these attacks require coin flips, meaning that some of the time you'll flip tails and basically waste an attack. However, the ability to reflip coins will definitely help. For example, Gyarados' Stormy Seas lets you search for water energy to power it up, so now you can potentially get it set up a bit sooner by using Victory Star. Celebi's Time Call attack is interesting because it's essentially getting around the rule of having to wait a turn to evolve. It could potentially be useful in a deck that relies on stage 2 Pokemon that are normally hard to get out, as now you can get the stage 1 right away. Also keep in mind that the attack is for a colorless energy, so it can be splashed into any deck. Lastly, Sableye is a card that has piqued my interest since its release because of the energy acceleration potential. Energy Hunt lets you attach energy from the discard to your Pokemon, so being able to reflip here is incredibly strong. I could definitely see it being played with something like Mega Mewtwo EX. Victini's Victory Star ability is also great for Pokemon that provide disruption on your opponent, whether it be removing energy or discarding cards from their hand. Gran Bol is especially interesting because it has yet to see play up to this point. Being able to put 3 of your opponent's cards back into their deck is already strong, but to combine it with cards like Red Card and Delinquent could really make it into a competitive deck, especially since a single DCE attachment is all it takes. Shiftry is arguably one of the strongest of the new contenders in this video, as its attacks can combo together to form a hand lock that is nearly impossible to get around, at least in theory. The missing piece of the puzzle would be something like Trick Shovel. That way you could use its second attack to constantly recycle it and manipulate your opponent's top decks as well. Abyssal and Rotom work similarly to Shiftry and Gran Bol but require less setup. Also, Thundurus EX and Froakie now have a higher chance of paralyzing your opponents thanks to Victini, allowing for easier setup. Thundurus in particular gets the added benefit of being able to do more damage, allowing you to essentially choose which flip you'd rather have since they're both powerful effects. Finally, Pincer and Kingdra disrupt your opponent's board but in different ways. Pincer can essentially scoop your opponent's active up and send it back to their hand, which is useful if it's a Pokemon that has a lot of energy on it, such as Yveltal or Mega Mewtwo EX. I included Kingdra in this list because I think the second attack is inherently strong if you take away the coin flip. Being able to knock off 2 of your opponent's energy for just a double dragon energy is great already, but Kingdra being a single prize attacker is icing on the cake. Choice Band will boost Twister's damage to 100, enough to 2-shot most Pokemon. The remaining Pokemon on this list have attacks that can potentially do more damage depending on coin flips. Fire-type fans will especially like some of these attackers, including Torchic, Incineroar GX, and Mega Charizard EX. The first has already seen some play in the past with Volcanion, but previously this was dismissed because the damage output was still too low and you could potentially hit for nothing. Being able to attack twice using Torchic's Omega Barrage trait is great when you can use Volcanion EX's Steam Up ability, potentially letting you hit for one-hit KOs. Incineroar's second attack does 80 base damage, and with 2 heads that bumps it up to 180. Add a Choice Band from the upcoming set for an extra 30, hitting that magic 210 mark for one-hit KOs against popular Megas, as well as EXs that use Fighting Fury Belt. Now, it's hard to tell how competitive Mega Charizard EX will be given that it takes a whopping 4 energy to power up, but that should be relatively easy to do in a format with cards like Max Elixir, Mega Turbo, and Volcanion. By getting 4 energy on it, you can flip 4 coins for a potential of 200 extra damage, and Victini certainly helps those chances. Another Mega Pokemon worth mentioning is Venusaur, whose Bloom Buster can deal 30 damage to all of your opponent's bench Pokemon if you flip heads. This could be great against decks that use low HP basics, such as Eevee, Combee, and Magikarp. And yet another Mega Evolution is Aggron. While this might have seemed like nothing more than a bad Deck Monday idea this time last year, I think Mega Aggron EX with Victini could indeed have potential. Being able to do 240 damage is really powerful considering that it KOs basically anything besides a Wailord EX. It's even enough to take out Decidueye GX in a single blow. While it is weak to fire Pokemon, anything else is certainly a feasible matchup when you're doing that much damage. The last EX on the list is ash-greninja EX. Being able to snipe damage on the bench has always been powerful, just look at how popular Decidueye has become recently. While hitting for 60 damage for 2 energy may not seem efficient, ash-greninja could have potential with the right battle partner. The final few Pokemon in this video are all single prize attackers. Fearow could certainly make a mark in the format because it has a lot going for it. First of all, its Delta evolution trait lets it evolve right away, bypassing the evolution roll. Second, its repeating drill attack is for a single colorless energy, meaning it is easy to set up and can work with other types as well. Finally, being a stage 1, you could definitely take advantage of the evolutions from Ancient Origins to change its type accordingly. This means that with a choice band, you could potentially do 130 damage for one energy, and that's enough to knock out things like Decidueye EX and Yveltal EX after weakness applies. Dragonite is perhaps the newest card from the list, having recently come out in the Sun and Moon base set. It can deal a whopping 200 damage, but at the cost of 5 energy and a coin flip. With Victini and a choice band, however, it can now take pretty much anything out in a single attack reliably, though powering it up is still somewhat of a challenge. Concluding my list is going to be Articuno. What I like about this card is that it's already a popular attacker in the format, typically used in water toolbox decks that use a variety of attackers. Ninja Boy made the card stronger by allowing you to switch it into a bulkier Pokemon, allowing you to get set up. Now you can take those finishing KOs using Victini's ability, helping assure that you hit the math correctly to take that extra prize card thanks to Articuno's Delta Plus ancient trait. Let me know in the comments what you think about these Pokemon. Will they see competitive play when Victini is released, and are there other options that you think could work? It's hard to tell whether or not these cards will see play since the format is constantly changing and new decks emerging, but I think Victini will be a solid partner nonetheless. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel as well, guys. My goal for March is to try and push out a video every day of the month, so your support will be greatly appreciated along the way. Finally, check us out at topdecknation.com. We'll be relaunching the site this month with lots of free content for the Pokemon TCG community, including strategy articles, deck lists, and more. But in the meantime, this has been Zach with Top Deck Nation. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.